some people think that if you just let native range just go without any grazing on it, that it will just get better and better. But that's not true. It gets worse and worse. The population is going to double in the next, how many years, Ralph?
15.
15 years.
If it slows down.
Ranches that are most appealing to us are already subdivided because they have the highest value for developers.
You know, people say agriculture, to be able to make it sustainable, you have to diversify, right? You know, you can't just raise.
I think we can see the momentum building around locally sourced food as well.
Preserving as much open spaces as we can while still
All
developing.
of the natural resource issues are driven by growth. As growth occurs, change occurs. The volatility of our economy, the collaborative process, the future of agriculture.
The future of agriculture.
Future?
So just like a lot of other industries, the railroad industry, the mining industry, farming and ranching is evolved. And now the managers, the custodians of that land, they recognize that there are long-term consequences for a short-term action.
There are three main threats. Biggest threat is climate change.
And I hate to say this, people say that the whole story's in about global warming, the scientists all agree and so on. I've been through the scientists all agree too many times in my life. I went through the scientists all agree that global cooling is the order of the day in the 70s. Oh, these big headlines, global cooling, global cooling. So I'm much more persuaded now of heating than I was then of cooling, but who knows? Now,
The second threat is the fact that individual farmers and ranchers don't have any control over the prices they receive. And the third big threat has always been, but it continues to be a threat, and that's weeds, new invasive varieties from other parts of the country.
The biggest threat to agriculture is the people in agriculture choosing to not be engaged in the community dialogues to make sure that they're at the table in, you know, whether it's the economy, whether it's the natural resources, whether it's the political arena. Agriculture, to survive and to stay healthy, has got to be involved in that.
Virtually every farm family in Montana's got somebody who's earning some money off the farm to make the whole thing work.
We're trying to find ways to enhance ranching operations. What can we do to make the ranch more productive so that I don't have to go get a town job? My wife doesn't have to get a town job so that we can support the ranch.
first of all, there are full-time ranchers. And then there are people who are part-time ranchers. And by that I mean, we derive the majority of our incomes from non-ranch activities.
At least three things are going to happen. One, they're going to have to increasingly find non-traditional sources of income. Now those can be off-ranch sources of income, second jobs. They're going to be new on-ranch sources of income. In my own case, that will have to do with alternate energy production. The second thing that's going to happen is that they're going to have to be more and more skilled, particularly with regard to managing for water and climate and weeds, and just going to have to become more scientifically knowledgeable. And the third thing is they're going to have to work for policies which maintain a decent return on the crops they grow and the animals they raise.
And so I think the future of agriculture is going to be increasingly niche-oriented, premium-branded products.
Small farms.
Yeah. So premium beef, conservation-friendly, predator-friendly beef, bison, etc.
The future of agriculture in the Northwest is going to continue to diminish because of the growth of population in the Northwest. There are portions of the area where agriculture may be enhanced by new practices by a rising demand. You know, you look at the volatility of our economy, and we've taken a shift to where nearly all of our food comes from out of the United States or from areas a long ways away. You know, the average meal, they figure, has traveled 1,520 miles before you eat it. I think we'll see aspects of that change, and if it does, then there will be a more local agriculture and less shipping things quite so far.
I think that really hits the philosophical issues that are going to drive changes in the marketplace. But I think we already know that people want organic and sustainable food, and they'll pay more for it. And I think we can see the momentum building around locally sourced food as well.